Weird experience. I work in a call center and I'm on night shift. A friend of mine emailed me while I was talking to my customer. Upon reading the email, I went into a shock for a minute. At first, he said that I should not be scared, and he just needs to tell me something. He said that he can see ghosts. His father had his third eye closed, but there are some instances that he can still see them. Okay, I understand what he was talking about, and that he can see things, weird things. It's kind of freaky, but he then said that a while ago a ghost was beside me watching me. He said that it was a guy in white. He was with me for a while just watching what I was doing. OMG. I asked him, really? Is this true? I was almost shouting, and he said that it is really true. It's like all my blood cells were rushing up my spine and my hair was rising. I then looked around as I was very certain that the guy was still beside me. At the same time I was feeling really cold. Nope, I didn't see any guy in white that looks like a ghost. I asked him if he is still around. He said that, nope, not anymore. Yeah, right, I still think the guy was still around as I sensed my friend keep on looking at something behind me. But he assured me that he is not there anymore. Maybe he was just saying it so that I won't get too paranoid or something. At lunchtime, I and my friends went to Jollibee to eat. After lunch, I and my friend were on the elevator going up to 7th floor. It was just me, my friends, around 7 of us, and a girl from the 5th floor. I pressed the number 7 for 7th floor. The number 5 is already on. When the elevator started to go up, the light for 2nd floor just came up, and so the elevator stopped at the 2nd floor. No one even pressed the 2nd floor, the light just immediately came up. When the door opened, no one was there. 2nd floor is a parking area. It was very dark, and there were no lights at all. I freaked out and asked the girl from the 5th floor, since she was the one beside the numbers. I asked her if she pressed the 2nd floor. She said no, she did not. OMG. I thought I was losing my mind. I was not really sure if it was still the ghost that my friend was talking about. Actually, I can't really say that I believe in them, as I haven't really experienced seeing one. But what my friend told me seemed kind of real, and I just can't imagine myself seeing one. But later that week, I have 2 days off. I had a movie marathon and started to feel sleepy around 1:30 a.m. At 2 a.m., I was already in bed, trying to sleep. My mom likes to sleep with me when I'm at home. I have 2 beds and she was using the other one. I'm only at home if I'm on day off. I don't know how long I had been sleeping, but the next thing I know I was awakened by a thud noise in my bedroom. I didn't know what it was. I tried to get up, but it felt like someone was on top of me holding my neck. I was still able to breathe, but I couldn't move. I tried to get up or raise my hand or tried to speak, but I couldn't. It seemed like I was pinned down. It was like that for like 2 to 3 minutes, I really cannot tell. I opened my eyes and it was dark, but we have a small lamp so I could still see what was inside my room. I could only move my eyes. I saw my mom sleeping on the other bed. Again, I tried to raise my hand and wanted to call my mom for help, but I just couldn't move. I then tried to recite the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. I was halfway done with the prayer. I began to move my finger and I was now able to move my body. I was freaking out. It felt like someone was with me inside my room. I went to the other bed and I went back to sleep an hour after holding my mom's hand. It happened again a week after that and a week after that again. The second time was a little different, as I felt like someone or something licked my neck. I also felt like someone was holding my hands above me. I also felt like another hand was feeling my stomach. It went on for a month or so. I then started to pray a lot and go to church every Sunday. I told my friends about what happened to me, and they just told me to pray and try to sleep beside my mom when I'm at home. Nothing happens if I sleep beside my mom. I never even told her about it since it might freak her out as well. I'm not really sure as to what happened. Hopefully this will stop because it's making me paranoid. If you have information as to what happened, please do send comments. Thank you. Picture frame. I always believed in ghosts. And I wish to see one to experience the thrill that everybody is experiencing once they encounter things like that. I don't believe that I'm the type of person who have the ability to feel and see spirits, like a medium. I don't have a third eye to recognize them. Not until the following encounter. My first encounter with spirits happened when me and my ex-boyfriend were hanging out together in our house. We were talking about it because he has the third eye. He can see ghosts and feel spirits around. We are on the midst of the story when suddenly the picture frame on the wall fall down to the ground. That was funny because nobody pulled it off and it can't be pulled easily without human force. The fan is off and the air outside the house is not enough to do that. I looked in my boyfriend with questions in my eyes. He just bowed his head and told me to stay inside. He went out of the house and then I heard him talking to somebody else. But I didn't see anyone except him. An hour later, my mom came home and we bid each other goodbye. After he arrived home, I started to feel dizzy and felt coldness wrapping my whole body. My mom advised me to go to bed and she covered me with blanket. One blanket was not enough, so she added one more. Still, I felt so cold even though I was wrapped up with 2 blankets. I then texted my boyfriend and, worried about my condition, he then called up and told me to wear anything that has a cross or God's image on it. Amazed, I grabbed the rosary from the altar and wore it. After 30 minutes I started to feel the heat coming from the wrapped blanket and sweat started to drip off my face. I called up my boyfriend and told him I was starting to feel good already. He then told the shocking truth that I've been touched by the lady when they got off from the house. After that encounter, I did not wish for my boyfriend to open my third eye. I'm afraid to see more of those and feel that odd feeling again. I'm now contented to watch scary movies and hear ghost stories everywhere. I realize that having the power to see them is not always good after all. A ghost in heat. I remember once that my husband and I were arguing about the paranormal. Specifically ghosts that haunt the living. He was a wee bit scared sleeping in my ancestral home. Let me give you a background of our home sweet home. I live in a 39-year-old house inside a compound. There are 5 houses in a row, each facing another group of 5 houses. It was said that the place where our compound was housed was haunted. This was the place where Katipunero soldiers passed to get to Balintawak. This was a forest where ambushes and battles took place. Thus, there were many people who lost their lives here. Even the maids in our house told us of their own experiences with the ghosts that haunt the house. So, my husband will be not so keen in sleeping in the house. His third eye was slightly if not reluctantly open. He used to experience and see ghosts wherever he went and in the places he lived. We were already getting ready to go to sleep. We were lazing away in bed just watching the television. He said that since he began sleeping in the house a week ago, he had never experienced any sighting. He said he was lucky, maybe. I was teasing him and said maybe the ghost in the house did not like him enough to warrant a look-see. He turned off the television and snuggled deeper into the covers. The air conditioning was on. I also fixed my pillow and snuggled and positioned myself, getting ready to go to bed. He then turned to me, a little pale. He said, "Honey, there is something sitting at the end of the bed next to me." I answered back that it was just his imagination getting the better of him. He said that he felt the bed sag on his side. I turned toward him and just embraced him, reassuring him that it was just one of the ghosts saying hello. I was so used to having a ghost or duende in my room. Each room in the house has its own entity residing in it. Each a unique paranormal entity. I have never really been bothered with them since they have never hurt anyone in the household. They are felt, heard and sometimes seen by the people living in the house. My husband just asked me to keep my arms around him, embracing and reassuring him that nothing would happen to him. So, I guess we were already nodding off to sleep since I remember that I was already somewhat dreaming. He suddenly shook me to wake me up. He said wide-eyed, "Honey, it's not near the end of the bed anymore. It's touching my penis." With that we both sat up. I told him the best way is just to say a prayer. I took the holy water that I keep in the room for emergencies like this. I sprayed the whole room more on the bed. I was hoping that the entity, who or whatever it was, would be cooled by the spray of holy water. We prayed, then lay on the bed and pulled up the blanket. We slept, and next thing I knew I woke up to see the rays of the sun passing through the curtains of my room. It was already morning. The others. It was nearly 7 p.m. when we reached my friend's grandmother's house in the province near our school. We were there to spend the night doing our thesis required to finish our course. There were 7 in the group. The house belonged to Melissa's grandmother. No one was in there aside from a caretaker who left after he handed us the key. We suited ourselves and prepared our dinner. After the meal, we started to do our projects. It was already 2 a.m. when we finished and decided to go to bed. There were 3 rooms in the house. We were 4 girls and 3 boys, so we took the other room, while the boys took the room on the other side. The other one left was Melissa's grandmother's room. Before going to bed, Andrea, one of our friends, asked Melissa about the house. She told us that her third eye was open and she felt something in there. We were frightened of what she said and told her to stop bullying us. But Melissa said that the house was known in the town as being haunted, since no one really stayed there. Her grandmother was staying with her family, since she was too old to be alone in that house. Suddenly we felt as if someone were watching us. We went to the room and decided to sleep. Around 5 a.m., Andrea woke me. She was chilled and could not control it. She asked us if we could leave already, but it was too early, and we wanted to sleep late. I told her to go back to sleep again. She said she couldn't, and could I just come with her outside? She just needs some air to breathe. I wanted to scream at her, but when I looked at her, she was white, as if she had no blood running in her veins. I woke up the rest of the girls. Andrea was already freaking out and crying. We went outside, and Melissa gave her some water. She calmed down a little and started to tell us the story that scared us and gave us total chills to the bone. When we went to bed, we went to sleep fast, since we were all tired, but Andrea could not sleep. She heard noises like footsteps outside the rooms and whispering. She ignored it and went to sleep. It was as if there were other people in the house, but she still fell asleep. She awakened at around 3:45, and what she told us next scared us to death and made our blood run cold. She said that she closed her eyes and tried to get some sleep again, but she still couldn't. When she opened her eyes, she saw a lady in front of her, looking down at her face. She smiled at her wickedly and said, "You can see us, can't you?" The other people then came near around her. That's when she woke me, chilled and crying. We waited till the sunrise, packed our things and went back to the city. None of the boys knew what had happened. No one would surely believe, so why waste our energy telling them? After all, we were still drained when we reached our dorm. Diana. I was packing my things when my roommate Diana went in. We are studying on different school, but we are roommates for 3 years. She was jolly and nice. But that afternoon she looked sad. I asked her what was wrong with her, but she assured me she's okay. She's just tired, so I didn't bother her. She lies on her bed and closes her eyes. When I finished doing my things, I bid her goodbye. She rose, hugged me and told me to take care. I smiled at her and told her to give me a call if she needs someone to talk to. I am going home for the weekends, as my daily routine for 3 years. I was thinking of Diana on my way home. As I reached home, I decided to call her, but I cannot reach her. I started to get worried. I told my mom about it, and she told me maybe she was sleeping, and her phone got low bat. I dismissed the thoughts that are coming in my mind. I am not feeling good on whatever is happening on her. Around 9:15 p.m. after our dinner, I received a call from her. I told her I was worried about her and it's a good thing she called. Stop worrying, Kat, I'm okay. I just want to tell you you're so nice and I'll miss you. What are you talking about? I will be back on Sunday afternoon, you never miss me during weekends. This sounded weird now and my hands got cold. Are you not going home? I asked her. No. Look, Kat, I need to go now, good night. Just send my regards to your mom. Okay, I'll just tell her. Bye. She cut the line and my heart was still pounding fast. I told my mom Diana is okay, she just called me and she sends you her regards. After a few minutes my cell phone rang, it was our landlady. She was crying and freaking out. I cannot understand what she is saying. I told her to calm down and tell me what happened. She told me that at around 8:45 p.m. they heard a noise from our room, so she decided to come. She knocked and called Diana because she knows I already left that afternoon, but there are no response, so she opened the door. She almost got a heart attack when she saw Diana hanging on the ceiling. She then called other boarders and asked for help, but when they got Diana down, she was no longer breathing. They tried to revive her while the ambulance was on its way, but she was dead already. I was speechless. She just called me few minutes ago. It can't be. The hair on my nape rose. My bloods run cold. I don't know what to say. Catherine, are you still there? Our landlady asked me. Yes. Where is she now? We already called her parents, they are on their way to pick up her body. Her body? I can't believe it. We ended the call and I told my mother what happened. She also cannot believe what happened. The following day we went to Diana's place for the funeral. I still can't believe everything happened just like that. I told her mom our last talk. She cried and told me she also received a call from Diana, but that was before she did it. Until now, I cannot believe what happened. I am just praying that wherever she is, she's just okay. Liked what she told me. Baguio's chills. I learned this story from my cousin. She visited Baguio last year. She told me that Baguio is not only famous and beautiful but also chilly. My cousin Angela visited a very luxurious hotel. I know the name of the hotel, but I will not tell since the hotel might lose its publicity. One day when Angela visited the hotel, she felt something spooky, but she didn't tell anyone because maybe all the people there might think she's a freak. That night she slept in one of the most beautiful rooms in the hotel. She heard some noise. She thought it was her roommate Clarice. "Clarice, could you stop making noises? I'm so sleepy," shouted a very sleepy Angela. But Clarice didn't reply. Suddenly she heard gunshots and people shouting. Angela thought it was just some of the kids in the hallway. Angela was very tired of the noise that she shouted. Clarice woke up. Finally, Clarice told Angela that she was so scared. She told her that she dreamt that so many people were killing each other. Unable to stand their fear, they asked some workers about the history. They told them that it was really where the Philippines-Japanese fight was held. It was a bloody one. Sometimes they could see a lady asking if they saw her head. They told Clarice and Angela everything. Since Angela and Clarice were so scared, they checked out. They promised that they would never go to Baguio. The lesson from the story is to always learn the history of a certain place.
Please like and subscribe to my channel.